Then we've got Avengers Planet Hulk, which would take place around about the same time as Doomsday's happening. So the film brings together the Guardians of the Galaxy, Hulk, Thor, and Captain Marvel's arcs all together to converge on Planet Hulk. Because it is an ensemble film, this is where I sort of clarified. It's considered an Avengers movie despite mostly featuring cosmic non-Avengers characters, blah, blah, blah. This film follows a similar premise to Thor Ragnarok. I don't know why I put that, because I don't know if it really does. I said that earlier and it didn't. With Hulk having taken over an entire planet and using it to host fights, brawls, become the centre of general scum within the cosmic side of the MCU. Bounty hunters, criminals, fighters, and mercenaries. He is the cosmic criminal.
Okay, then.
He's like the Jabba the Hutt of the MCU. Hulk has been trapped in Hulk form now since landing on the planet and is unable to transform back to Bruce Banner. Thor, who is there with Captain Marvel, enters a fight with Hulk in their first encounter but loses. The Guardians of the Galaxy are sent on a heist job here on the planet to steal. They don't realise it, but it's from Hulk's vault.
Okay.
Though the plan goes wrong and they're captured. Captain Marvel and her corps are constantly battling to try and take down the Hulk's regime on the planet, since Hulk is basically one of the biggest intergalactic crime bosses in the universe.
This sounds like Maestro.
It's revealed that Thor's sister Hela has managed to trap Hulk in a constant Hulk form as the goddess of war and death, and she's feeding off... I don't know what she is... What is she the goddess of? Is it death?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay. Because that's what I went for, but I didn't know if it was comic accurate, because I've never read a Hela comic.
No, I think she is the goddess of...
I've kind of gone for like a Wonder Woman Ares kind of thing.
She watches the underworld, I think.
Okay. So, because she's trapped him in the Hulk form and he's causing all of this chaos, she's getting like a real kick out of it.
Yeah.
So once it's revealed that she is the cause behind it, the group band together. Thor visits Asgardian sages to learn about his sister, while Captain Marvel and Nova team to lead a resistance against Hulk's gangs. It's the Guardians that manage to use Cosmo the dog to telepathically get through to Bruce and transform him back.
Oh, cute doggy.
I love the visual of like Cosmo jumping up into Hulk's arms. Hela makes her presence known and there's a big showdown between her and Thor at the end of the film. We see Reed Richards contacting Bruce Banner after the events of Doomsday, telling him that he needs to return to Earth.
Okay.
God. I'm glad that you like Doomsday, because if you didn't like that, then the rest of it you won't
because
enjoy.
I think like not having Doom in it for someone's like, when's he going to reappear? And then,
yeah, I tried to sort of trickle enough into it, but I didn't want it to be like,
obvious.
Here's another Doom tease, here's another Doom tease.
The difference in mine is like it was obvious who's doing things, but it was like I think mine was that I wanted it to be obvious. I didn't want it to be a big reveal.
Yeah.
And whereas yours is like, no, it's.
I think we're now on the last arc of my entire MCU.
Good. Okay.
I said that like 30 minutes ago, but I mean like the last sort of set of
big
films.
arc, yeah.
Avengers Secret Wars, the tale of how Doom broke the multiverse. So the film follows Victor Von Doom after the events of the Fantastic Four, him being approached by Agatha Harkness and trained in sorcery by her before finding out about his heritage and the claim to the throne of Latveria. Hidden in the basements of Castle Doom, Victor starts to work on Doombots, his elite police force that can patrol and safeguard Latveria. We get a montage of previous events again. I've sort of, because I went back and rewritten certain sections, you might get like repeats of stuff. I don't know if I mention it, because I can't remember if I put it in here, but I like the idea that Doom finds out that Agatha is responsible for the death of his mother.
Yeah.
Because of the whole Witches Road scam earlier on. She lures in witches. His mum was a witch. Mm-hmm. That's the reason. So he's kind of playing the long game with her and sending her into volatile scenarios with the Scarlet Witch, hoping that Scarlet Witch kills her.
Yeah, okay.
But also, like, using her to his advantage kind of thing, learning more about the mystic arts and stuff. We don't care about any of that. Victor does some research into space, the acknowledgement that alien life exists and that worlds out there are vast, and travels himself out there, spending around 3 years off-planet, learning languages, learning cultures, and the ways that the universe works. He returns to Earth with new tech, upgrades his Doombots, and uses the technology until he's visited by someone, George Talton, MODOK. Mm-hmm. Talton is looking to sell mutants and Inhumans that he's captured over the last couple of years, and knows Doom's wealth. Doom turns him down and even threatens to end Talton there and then, until he brings up one special mutant that he calls Starburst. Dorm
Dormammu.
Fucking hell.
It's been a long day.
Doom doesn't initially believe George when the explanation of Starburst is given to him. He's dismissive until George offers to show him recorded footage of the powers in action.
Gotcha.
The footage shows Tarleton harnessing the power of the mutant to open up a portal, though it isn't a regular magical teleportation portal, no. Instead, it is a star-shaped portal to another universe. MODOK has in his possession America Chavez,
Gotcha.
a girl with the ability to travel the multiverse. Doom, who sees more potential in this than MODOK, agrees to purchase Chavez, and in return also gives MODOK the technology needed for the Sentinel project he's been working on, reawakening a dead and buried Sentinel.
Okay.
The idea that I kind of like is maybe he took an Infinity Stone from a different point, because I mess around with time travel a lot and teleporting around and whatever. I like the idea that maybe during his multiversal travels he got an Infinity Stone, came back, somehow gave that to MODOK, but it's weaker in this universe because it's not native to this universe.
Yeah, okay.
Doom has harnessed Chavez's power by killing her.
Oh, shit.
Dead. But he's somehow absorbed it. Comic-y stuff.
Yeah.
Using the multiversal travelling ability with Kang's time travel, the big chair.
Yeah.
This is how we see
Kang's
him...
thing, okay.
Yes. So he travels the multiverse, immediately kills a Kang. Now he's got time travel and the ability to travel the multiverse.
Okay.
This is how we see him visiting different points in time. I did mention it. We then see him visit his childhood, discovering that Agatha Harkness is the reason his mother is dead. Agatha killed her during one of the Witches' Road's trials, and this revelation made Doom, in turn, con Agatha, using her before baiting her into attacking Wanda. We flash back to the current timeline. Doom is adding Cap's shield, Black Widow's wrist shots, all to his collection. We then see a cloaked figure arrived at Castle Doom, having slipped past Doom's bots to confront him. It's Billy Kaplan, who's there for his mother. I don't know why I said it in like a pantomime way. It's Billy Kaplan! He's behind you! Doom agrees that Billy can meet Wanda, after Billy agrees not to attack Victor, insisting he's no threat and just wants his family back together. There's some parallels here between Doom, who lost his mother, and Billy, who wants to meet his. Doom reveals he's been keeping Wanda as a prisoner and lets Billy meet her. She's mostly unresponsive, though. She's in like a vegetative state. Emotional scenes, I've put this in like a weird way, but there's a very emotional scenes of Billy trying to get like a reaction out of her before begging Doom to help him. You know, why is she like this kind of thing? She was like that when I found her, you know. Doom reveals that with their combined powers, they could heal Wanda. And the damage from the Darkhold at the end of Scarlet Witch 3 caused a lot of mental strain on her. This is just what he's telling Billy. Wiccan and Doom link hands with Wanda and a ritual begins, though Billy doesn't realise here is that Doom is playing him. Screen fades to white. Not black, which is very important.
It's fades to white because he's going to be wearing his white robes.
The idea that I'm going for is that fade to black, someone's died. Yeah. Fade to white, something has been born. Okay, we get a 1 week earlier heading before we see the funerals of Captain America and Black Widow. We then... I put another fade... Oh, I thought I put fade to black again. We then fade back to modern day and the...
And the fade out...
Oh, we're in a completely new universe. Way! I've phrased it very strange. Let me see if I can make sense of this for a second. Bloody hell. So we just get a flash of like Captain America and Black Widow funerals. I don't know if I would put that there, but I have. I would maybe move that around a bit. It doesn't need to be there. Let's just say that after the screen fades to white, we're in a completely new universe. Wiccan wakes up in an underground cave, surrounded by hooded people chanting a spell. He was just resurrected by the cult of the Demiurge. They're made up of familiar faces, but with completely different personas, and they have no recollection of the previous universe they were in. This is where we see Billy leave the cave, emerging in this new world, Battle World.
Hey.
The forecourt.
Oh, okay, we're taking a left turn here.
This is just a bit of exposition dump, just so that you've got context, because you haven't read Secret Wars, have you?
No.
Okay. So the forecourt are a group of collection of fours from across the multiverse, brought together and repurposed into Doom's personal law enforcement of Battleworld. They're like his Doom bots.
Okay.
Their Mjolnirs are not genuine artifacts, though. instead using some of Doom's essence created from the power so they aren't as strong but still pack a decent enough punch.
Yeah.
A user of a Thor hammer must either be a powerful magic user or worthy of the God of Thunder's gift still.
Uh-huh. Oh my god!
Now bear with me for a second.
That is a lot of text.
This is still the first Secret Wars film of 3.
Oh good lord!
They found us. We weren't fast enough, someone says, as they see what looks like a murder of crows flying their way. In reality, it's a deployment of Thors. The Thor Corps, a group of multiversal Thors. This was before I added the explanation. They begin to wipe out the cult and they fight Wiccan. We see a hard-fought battle, but Wiccan wins and ends up venturing off with a Mjolnir in hand because he's a magic user.
Yeah.
Billy travels across the wasteland of Battleworld, coming across a small town where we see an elderly Matt Murdock who recognizes Wiccan. He can remember. Here, Matt Murdock tells Wiccan about the rules of Battleworld and God Doom, who reigns supreme. It's here that Wiccan realizes that Doom has tricked him, and instead of helping Wanda, he instead harnessed both of their powers to become God of the Multiverse. A lot of people remember, but they're powerless to actually do anything. They don't have their abilities anymore. Matt Murdock is just an old blind man. Oh, no. He's got no abilities.
He didn't have any abilities anyway, did he?
He doesn't have like his sixth sense sort of, echolocation sort of thing. Anybody that was powered isn't powered anymore.
Okay.
But there's a lot of familiar faces, a lot of variants and things. Murdoch shows him a map of all the standout locations, Battleworld versions of countries like Latveria and Wakanda, the United States. And then there's Doom's Cabal, a group of Dark Avengers-style characters ripped from the multiverse to serve Doom. Storm is the head of the Thor Corps. Sheriff Strange is his right-hand man. Hulkling is his personal bodyguard. Hulkling's like actually what he's being called at this point.
Yeah.
Sue Storm is his wife.
Of course, yeah.
And the Thing is being transformed into his super prism for those that remember and rebel against him in any way. So
your battle, because I've not read it. I just assumed Battleworld was like, he sends them all to a world and they all just have to fight it out. Biggest one with.
It's got no fighting at all.
Nah, okay.
I don't really know why. The original did, but when they redid it, didn't really.
My one was more like when Battleworld. When it was Doom sets up Battleworld, it's more inspired probably by the first one.
Yeah.
He sends all the Avengers to
mine is like
makes them fight for his entertainment, but then it ends with him
being
killed by Reed.
Mine is as close to an adaptation as I can get within the confines of my MCU to the 2016 one.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, so we get a scene of one of Doom's barons, the leader of the Sicklands, a mutated and deformed version of MODOK. MODOK is put on trial here for one of his failures, and Doom kills him, handing the land over to an evil Hank Pym, who in here is a multiversal version of himself as Yellow Jacket.
Okay.
We then see Doom visit his garden. Groot has been transformed into the Tree of Life that provides oxygen to all of Battleworld. It's a fucking huge towering tree. Mm-hmm. Doom visits a crypt in his garden, like a mausoleum. Mm-hmm. Inside of it, Pietro and Tommy are running in place towards each other, trapped and helpless. This place, by the way, it's pure white.
Okay.
I don't think I put that here, but in the comic it is.
Okay.
And in here in the comic is Molecule Man, the heart of Battleworld.
Okay.
Doom monologues about how grateful he is that he could do all of this with the help of the Scarlet Witch. And then it's revealed that Wanda is frozen carbonite style and Doom is feeding off of her magic.
Okay.
Billy arrives at the city that surrounds Castle Doom, seeing familiar looking characters in different outfits and forms. Thors are patrolling the streets. Billy conceals his Mjolnir within his cloak. I kind of like the idea that you can, if you use magic, you've got like Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
You can just do like a Doctor Who, stick it anywhere sort of thing. He tries to get as close to the castle as possible before he's pulled aside by Magneto. Magneto has had his powers removed from him and has Charles Xavier living with him. Doom has enacted a House of M-style spell that makes mutants into normal people. We see a montage of shots of like where all well-known characters are now, with the original version of Wolverine now being a famous cage fighter. There being posters of like a Logan versus Luke Cage style fight.
Yeah.
There's a gun shop ran by Rocket Raccoon where he manufactures ammo. While Magneto hides Billy, we flash back in time to see Reed and Sue arguing after the events of Doomsday, where Sue wishes death upon Reed for his cowardice.
Yeah, that makes sense. He was a fucking coward.
I had to do so much world building for Battleworld because, and I don't think they're going to do it justice in the MCU, But this world, when I read the comic, it's got so much potential for different stories to happen because there's just so much shit. It's like a fully fleshed out planet.
So whereas yours is adapting the 2016 Battle World, mine adapts probably the 80s one.
Yeah,
where
it's literally just like an arcade
so basically,
everyone fight
thing. Yeah, so mine would be Doom more becomes like the Beyonder style thing, sets up Battle World to see who's the strongest sort of thing. And then that results in them killing Doom at the end.
Mine is like a planet that he is the only powerful person and he rules over it like indefinitely.
Yeah.
Sue visits Castle Doom moments after Doom finishes the ritual with Billy and Wanda and agrees to help him, agrees to be with him rather, if he agrees to stop all of this nonsense. But it's too late. Her agreement to be with him was all he needed to cement her place in the new world. Reed sends a message to the Avengers that he trusts to rally them at his Ark, something he's built to protect the Avengers in an Earth-destroying event, and it's revealed that he actually had a flash forward to this back during the first Fantastic Four film, and he's been working on the Arks ever since.
Yeah.
I don't know why I put flash forward. I meant flashback. Like, we find out that during that first film was when he started working on the Ark.
I thought you meant that maybe it's revealed that he had a premonition of this event happening or something.
No, it's just that he's been working on that project since that, like, that's how long to justify it even existing.
Okay.
The first film ends with Billy discovering Teddy is Doom's bodyguard, Doom giving one of his speeches while somewhere on Battleworld a group of Avengers wake up from stasis sleep on board of a buried Ark in the side of a mountain. These Avengers consist of Mr. Fantastic, Black Panther, Falcon, Miss Marvel, obviously Falcon at this point is Captain America.
Yeah, okay.
Nightcrawler, Nova, Star-Lord and Bruce Banner. Here we get the big reveal that Reed Richards knew Star-Lord and Banner the entire time, even throughout the events of Planet Hulk, and Falcon is donning a new Captain America-style outfit made of vibranium with a whole new shield. We get a Sam Wilson Avengers Assemble line before they get back to work figuring out how to take on Doom. Fade to black. It isn't the absolute final scene, though, as we get a flashback of Doom talking to Tony after the events of Doomsday. Doom uses Stark's suit to move him into a display case, where Doom then explains he plans to preserve Tony's body in case he needs it. Specifically the brain, he doesn't need the rest of him.
Okay, then.
Doom then reaches into the chest and pulls out the arc reactor that is keeping Tony Stark alive.
Oh, so Tony's dead.
Tony Stark is gone.
Yeah.
I needed like one final, oh no, kind of moment. Avengers, the Golden Age. We're taking a detour for a second.
Okay.
This film shows an alternate universe with different casting, showing off a multiversal variants of the Marvel characters that are much more accurate to their comic book counterparts, sporting garish comic book accurate outfits. We get a classic Avengers team-up of core characters, Iron Man, Cap, Hulk, Widow, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, Wasp, She-Hulk, Wolverine and Thor. The debuts of new characters aren't really addressed, like She-Hulk, for example. They're just here in this film and already present, as this is more of a focus on the fact that it's an alternate reality to my MCU and the reference to the multiverse breaking.
Yeah.
The end of the film is bookended with the debut of The Watcher. I don't know if I've mentioned it much. Oh yeah, I did. I ended up getting back to it, but The Watcher addresses Secret Wars Part 1 and explains very blatantly that there are many universes like this out there, all with different versions of these heroes. And they're all being brought to an end because of Doom and the power that he has. I like the idea that at the end of the film you see the world collapsing, the big incursion happening. The plot is a straight-up adaptation of an early comic book event where the Avengers face off against Kang the Conqueror, also in his comic-accurate garb.
Okay. Interesting.
The Barons of Battleworld. Let me introduce you to the Barons.
Okay, then.
Cassandra Nova making her MCU debut here. Hank Pym, of course, we saw. Zemo, Fisk, Norman Osborn, and Old Man Logan. Not our main MCU Logan, a different one.
Okay.
I don't know why that's there. It should be here. So, Secret Wars Part 2. Billy is still... Yeah, we've only got Part 2. I think these ones are slightly shorter than the others. I hope they are.
Okay, then.
Billy is still in hiding, rallying together a small rebellion of powerless heroes and side characters and creating a plan to they're all getting a plan to get Billy inside the castle. Fucking hell.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the remaining group of Avengers aboard the Ark inside the mountain are getting plans together to dismantle all of Doom's core barons. They want to weaken his cabal so it's easier for them to start a rebellion against him. They're the Dark Avengers that I mentioned earlier on.
Okay.
Reed theorizes that Doom might not be God anymore, and only created this world using the powers before exhausting them out. He believes that if Doom was still God, then we wouldn't have any free will to rebel against him.
Alright.
They get intel on the Barons and plan their attack. The entire film is an uphill battle of Avengers trying to take out the Barons in the best ways they possibly can without fully alerting Doom. I like the idea that maybe we get to see, like, I don't know, like Reed Richards or somebody pretending to be one of the Barons. Like, he inflates himself and pretends to be Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
Something weird like that. Just like a load of different hijinks to take out each one progressively through the film.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Billy finds the prism from Doomsday, the glass one, and discovers Strange's mind is actually trapped inside of it. Billy manages to free it. I like the idea that it's being sold at like a market or something.
Yeah.
And he sort of just discovers it and he's like, holy shit. And Strange is like, finally you found me. I've been trying to lure you towards me for so long. Billy manages to free Strange's mind, returning it to the nearest Strange body. We see a duel of minds between Sheriff Strange and Doctor Strange, very Multiverse of Madness style, Strange versus Strange. Taking that, obviously our Doctor Strange wins, taking that body as his own and having to pose as Sheriff Strange. But that's how they get Billy inside the castle. They now just need a distraction. Strange discovers Doom's biggest secret, the organs. AKA Wanda, Tommy, Pietro, all fueling his world and keeping it together. I listed all the Barons there. The Avengers take down each of these Barons throughout the film. It's highlighted here that Doom used Stark's brain to create his own Stark AI and a backup military of Doombot Iron Man suits to protect each Baron.
Okay.
The film focuses more on the remaining group of Arc Avengers, taking down each Baron throughout the film, and they realise that once a Baron has lost control of their area, the variants within that area begin to get their powers back. Very slowly, hero variants of Daredevil, Iceman, Spider-Man, Magneto, Punisher, I know he didn't really have powers, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
Wolverine, and even Hulks all start to get their abilities back, because this entire world is populated by variants of established characters.
Okay.
Pretty soon, a rebellion begins. Hundreds of heroes across all of Battleworld are fighting Doombots, Iron Man armors, variants of villains. The entire Battleworld is living up to its name. There's noticeably not any magic users, though. A lot of telepaths and magic users don't get their powers back during this, as they're all being suppressed by Wanda. Battleworld is described as being an actual planet, but for the sake of the films, we focus on more of a continent. It's made clear that Doom is God, and has more power than anyone else, or seemingly anyone else, until, of course, the creation of the Demiurge cult, the return of Billy. Battleworld is more of a nickname for the actual planet Latverion.
Ah, okay.
Which I think is from the comics. I think it's called that. Wiccan gets inside the castle during the rebellion thanks to an assist from Doctor Strange, that bumps into Teddy Altman, who seems to be under some sort of hex, since his eyes are glowing and he doesn't acknowledge who Wiccan is. The two are forced to fight as Hulkling tries to stop Wiccan from intruding on Doom, and Wiccan ends up managing to release Hulkling from the hex. The two reuniting and going together with Strange to the garden. Strange is like, we gotta get to the fucking garden.
We gotta get in that garden.
In there,
some roses need cooking.
In there, we see Invisible Woman, who's confused as to what Sheriff Strange is doing with the two boys. Seemingly, she doesn't know who they are. We get a flashback to Sue visiting Doom, agreeing to be with her and stuff and whatever. Again, repetition because I rewrote some of it. She seems to be with child, though it's revealed here that it isn't Doom's child and it is in fact Reed's, but she didn't realise she was pregnant when she left, and having her mind wiped by Doom, he's claimed the child as theirs.
Oh, Jesus.
Strange explains that Billy is a new apprentice and soon to be sheriff alongside him, and that he must show Billy the organs if he is going to eventually step up. Sue knows immediately that that's bullshit. Sue threatens to call for Victor before Strange is forced to sedate her so that they can get past. Like, as peacefully as he can, disposes of pregnant Sue. Strange shows Billy his mother, brother and uncle, all powering the planet and keeping it together. Wanda and her chaos magic are the only thing keeping Doom's dream world alive. As Strange tells them that they need to leave and figure out a plan for waking up Wanda, he is killed, stabbed through the chest with a sword from behind, the same as Cap. It was Doom. You arrived just for dinner, he says to Billy. Looks at Teddy, fade to black. Final moments of the film show Reed and the Avengers at the roots of the Groot tree. that spread around the back of the castle and the city. Star-Lord has a cutting from Groot, because Groot dies at the end of Guardians 1.
Yeah.
God, I'm awful at this. Hoping it could wake Groot up. Reed warns him, if you do this, the whole place could come down. We have to be fast. If Sue is in there, I can't lose her a second time. Quill places the Groot cutting onto one of the roots, and it begins to wake Groot up. I am Groot.
Okay.
Fade to black.
So in yours Doom actually does, because you said what's the motivation behind my Doom? It was like power, but in mine he gets power and starts a big fucking Mortal Kombat tournament. In yours he actually does assume full power.
He's got full power, but his core thing was mostly Sue. But then he was like, "Oh, she's come to me anyway."
Yeah.
so
like,
now Doomsday got him what he wanted, and now he's just taking it even further.
Okay.
So here we've got like Cassandra Nova, the Cabal. I've got Groot waking up, which is from the comic. And then I've included the picture of Madripoor because it would be introduced here and then continue forward post Secret Wars.
Yeah. Oh,
We've got the final one.
Okay, then.
This is it.
Okay.
This is the final film. Avengers Secret Wars Part 3. The film opens with the same words that Part 2 left off with. I am Groot. And the giant life tree awakening. Why did that work? Star-Lord asks Reed. Reed explains whatever, cutting from Groot's consciousness, just to justify it actually working. Yeah. Grow back into the giant husk of Groot that Doom was using. We have to go. Hulk, get us in there. Hulk launches Reed Richards into a crumbling section of the castle. Stark isn't able to detect anything is wrong because Groot isn't technology. So the Stark AI gets wiped out by Groot basically.
Okay.
But you've still got the Iron Man bots kind of independently trying to fucking fix what's going on with the whole rebellion thing. When Stark does nail that it's Groot, it's a bit too late. We get a flashback now to Doom killing Strange and taking Billy and Teddy captive from the previous film, bringing Billy to the throne room for a public execution. There can only be one god in this universe, and that is Doom. Billy's confused because he's not a god, or at least he doesn't think he is.
Dom.
Doom places a hand on Billy's head, and we get a quick flash, Paul style, of the creation of Battleworld. It is true, I could only achieve this with the power of your mother. More importantly, with you. It is for the best of us, for the best of both Doom and Battleworld that you die before you can achieve your greater potential. Suddenly, the Groot tree around the throne room begins to move and awaken, shaking the throne room. What in the... Doom mutters and has to turn his attention into keeping the room stable with his powers before it falls down around them. Sue, who has been present in the scene, helps him to hold it together with a force field. They're essentially in a floating hall in the sky, as the rest of the castle begins to crumble around them. During the commotion, Hulkling manages to get free of the magical restraints with one of Billy's spells, who is also now free. Billy is attacked by Doom right off the bat and is blasted into a column. Hulkling stands against Doom alone.
Oh, he's going to die, isn't he? Yes.
The Four Corps are fighting the rebellion, rallying civilians and former Avengers outside, trying to keep everything together. Sue, while holding the hall together, because she's got to take over from Doom, Doom's standing off against Teddy, Billy looks to throw something towards Teddy, though there's nothing in his hands. He's then contained in one of Sue's force field, pinned against a wall as Doom approaches Hulkling. You think a mere Skrull can stand against the might of Godboy? The might of Doom? Hulkling is ready to fight. He's ready to go toe-to-toe with Dr. Doom. No, but a Skrull with the powers of a god might be able to. Teddy reveals the Mjolnir that Billy retrieved back in the wastes. Billy had cloaked it in an invisibility, they sheathed it on his hip, he'd been carrying it the entire time, and that was when he threw it to Teddy before Sue contained him. Teddy is pulsing with electricity. Not only has he got Mjolnir, but he is worthy of the power of Thor. Doom and Teddy then fight back and forth, lightning strikes hitting the force field, striking Doom and Doom striking Teddy, the power of the God of Thunder and some of Doom's own influence in the Mjolnir, helping to protect Teddy. Billy gets free, dueling back and forth with Sue, trying his best not to harm her because she's chuffing pregnant. Billy then does the one thing Doom really didn't want to happen and manages to use a spell to return Sue's memory. Sue collapses, realizing what's happening. She's looking down at the city and the fighting, the giant Groot that has climbed out of the ruins of the castle, all of Sue's memories flooding back at once, and she realizes the baby she's carrying isn't Doom's, and the world isn't right. Doom, as safely as possible, manages to back Sue away from him, though variants of heroes are now fighting Doom. Hulks, Daredevils, Spider-Man variants, we see a huge fight scene where they take on Doom, but he ultimately comes out on top every time. Reed finds Sue, apologizes for what's happening and explains he was working on the arcs. The entire time he's been neglecting their relationship is because he's been prioritizing the arcs.
Okay.
Sue forgives him and they help try to slow down Doom, but he makes it out to where Billy has managed to get to with Teddy. The body of Strange is there. Billy has to find a way to free Wanda, but he doesn't know how. Reed confronts Doom and Sue.
With Sut.
Reed confronts Doom and Sue. Sue even attacking Reed briefly. This again was a rewrite. I think I meant to put Sue attacking Doom briefly.
Okay.
They both team on Doom. Doom manages to overpower both of them and the hall collapses with the three inside. Sue and Reed are down. Sue is inside a force field but injured, and out of the action, Reed refuses to leave her. Doom climbs from the rubble, blasting Avengers out of the way, including Hulk, Star-Lord, Black Panther, Teddy with his thunder powers. He's had a fucking enough. Doom walks down to confront Billy for the final time in this big white room. Mm-hmm. Billy stands opposite Doom and they battle one-on-one, but one of Doom's attacks goes for a defenseless Wanda, killing her in front of Billy. Billy stops and Doom revels in making Billy mourn the loss of his mother before his eyes turn to black. I've read that weird. Mm-hmm. Billy mourned the loss of his mother before his eyes then turn to black. His skin goes pale, energy emits from his body. Doom realizes that Wanda was the one thing stopping Billy's demiurge power from being unleashed. Billy turns into the demiurge and duels with Doom. But he beats Doom, proving to be more powerful. The idea behind the demiurge, I think I do get into. Yeah. Maybe I don't know, but I will explain it.
Okay.
We then see Billy resurrect Wanda with the powers of the demiurge, and he fixes the universe, returning things back to the way things were, basically big reset with the help of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
We are then back in the original universe, and we finally get the meeting of Tommy and Billy with Wanda properly.
Yeah.
The Avengers and X-Men are restored. Doom has no memory of what has happened and is being contained in the negative zone. The film ends with a narration from the Watcher saying the multiverse opens up many different stories and will forever be fractured. Let's go explore some of those stories. So the reason I chose the demiurge was because in real life, because the demiurge is like a myth kind of thing, he is the god of life.
Okay.
And the god of like bringing and stuff. So obviously, when it gets down to it, he can resurrect willy-nilly what he wants. And he works out to kind of be like the perfect person to recreate the multiverse and fix what Doom has done. Where to next? Where would you go? Well, you can continue with Avengers stories, Guardians of the Galaxy, characters like the Young Avengers, more Scarlet Witch, Hulk, Thor, whatever, new Captain America, introduction to characters like Deadpool, Gwenpool, Miles Morales, villains we haven't seen yet. With the multiverse, my idea from here, if I was to do another pitch, but I'm not gonna, would to do Kang and the Council of Kangs and stuff. Right. There we go.
So that's it. That's your pitch.
Oh, what a
Jesus,
cry.
that was like what 17 years of Marvel condensed into an hour power. I think yours definitely feels more thought out. Like yours, you like clearly had a goal where it was you're going to get to Secret Wars. And you're going to build up to that, and that's going to be set up all in Doomsday. Whereas mine seems like Doom's whole motivation is power, and probably would make more sense if he did something like that, but instead, no, he sets up more of a tournament-style thing just for his own amusement.
But I think, and it's the thing
Well, I mean, to be fair, on mine, I didn't really write down what Battleworld is, because I don't know what it is. So I'm just like, but I wanted it like God Doom.
The thing that does worry me, I think, about, the MCU version is, they haven't... Not only have they not set up the version of Doom that they're going to be fighting... They haven't at all set up any way to fix it.
No, because the problem, I think, with the reason why we did this is because we have some gripes with... my gripe was mainly with the casting, so I wanted to do a thing of where I would put him, who I would cast him as, and where I would take the story. Whereas yours seems to be your issue is that they haven't set up enough to do the event they're going to do.
Especially, when you look at Iron Man through till Endgame, they set up Thanos.
Everything's set.
It
feels like they've like hot-shotted Doom because...
But I will admit that, like, with...
the Kang situation.
The Kang stuff, his chair, the quantum bangles, the 10 rings and stuff. The stuff is there, but there isn't enough connective... Yeah.
Like, because it feels like they've hot-shotted the storyline because of all the Jonathan Majors controversy, and now it's like... now they can probably bring him back.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, now we've already sort of like locked into Doomsday and Secret Wars. Oops. Shit. It does feel a bit like they've kind of not set up enough here.
Is there anything you didn't like?
No, I really enjoyed yours. I really enjoyed yours. I liked all the casting. I really.
What about me killing Punisher?
I didn't mind. I think I liked that yours being so thought out gave me a lot to listen to, and it actually did educate me on a lot of like the comic stuff that I don't know. Like, you clearly have a better understanding of what Doom's like in the Secret Wars thing. I was just like, Doom has no magic. Doom gets vague magical powers. Secret Wars. Now thinking back, if I was to redo mine with that knowledge, I could probably make it a bit better.
I will admit that, like, outside of Secret Wars, I haven't read anything Doom related. I do have like a general idea of his character, but I've never read an actual like any of the events or anything. So going purely off of Secret Wars, I kind of knew where I had to get to.
Yeah.
But then I kind of also wanted to throw in that he was responsible for everything else to prove kind of like how powerful he was. So, like, for example, you know, obviously harnessing American Chavez's abilities, getting Kang's time chair, killing all the different multiversal variants to prove his strength and stuff. Like, all of that came in, like, after I had already written Doomsday. Yeah. And I was like, right, okay, now I've got to write Secret Wars. How do I, like, flesh out his character? Because I hadn't really justified it as much. Yeah. I was like, I've only really included, like, 2 end credit scenes. But then when you listen to, like, Secret Wars, and he was actually in everything all along, it makes a little bit more sense.
I think if you were somehow able to, like, combine the aspects that I put in mine and with yours, you could get, like, the perfect Marvel Doom. Because I think you're saying you've got him, you know him from Secret Wars. I know like some like comic snippets and that, so it's like you can get a gist of what kind of character he is. You can get a gist of what he can do. And it's like if someone can figure out how to merge both of our pictures together into some weird amalgamation, let us know and put it down in the comments.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
every word I want 1,000 word syllabus.
Yeah, I want a 150 slide PowerPoint
to match this because this was long.
At the end of the day, like, regardless of like people's opinions and stuff when it comes to like comics, movies, TV shows, as long as you're enjoying it, who the fuck cares?
Because at the end of the day, we're not doing this because we don't enjoy Marvel films. We just thought,
we're doing it because I do enjoy it.
Yeah, we just thought this would be fun to do.
Yeah, I love the MCU, and it's fun, like, taking characters and storylines that haven't been adapted well, or maybe have like a different take on them, and seeing what I could do with them in a different context.
So yeah, and this is obviously something you're more passionate about. Like, I'm not massive into the MCU.
I've blown my back out somehow.
Fantastic. You're more into... God. Don't say that. Don't say that. We've just had a very nice professional PowerPoint done by, and you've just ended it by saying I've blown my back out.